secure now. What up, Nitro Nation? Muggy Maniac is at the undisclosed location. We're out at beautiful Southern California. Beautiful warm day. Temperatures have cooled down a little bit. Instead of being in the hundreds, it's only going to be like, I think, 80 something. But anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome all Muggy Maniacs, Chuggy Maniacs, Buggy Maniacs, Monster Truck Maniacs. We'll leave it at that. And Fifth Scale Brapheads. Welcome. Gonna take a sip of my zero sugar vitamin water. One of my favorite. What is this called? The Kai berry or something. But anyway, now first we're gonna run, well, we're only gonna run one thing on this video. There might be another nitro, no fifth scales this time. We're gonna give fifth scale a break for a minute, and I'm gonna explain some of the reasons why. Biggest one is holidays are coming up. Second biggest one is I just have so many nitro engines that I need to get broken in, get in some vehicles, and you know, I got too much money in nitro laying around right now. Fifth scale, been giving a lot of attention, but nitro is what my channel has always been about and will always be the focal point. And sure, although nitro might be dead in most people's eyes and on most people's channels, or not on anything at all, I do believe that it will, I know for a fact it will never die on my channel. It will always be about nitro. So anyway, we're gonna run the Cobra SRX8 Serpent. This vehicle is one of my favorites, but I haven't ran it. It's just too well engineered, well designed, it's too pretty of an 8 scale to even get all dirty and everything. But that's what they're for, you know. It was probably one of the funnest builds I've ever done all around, and it's just, I mean, you can go look at the videos where I put it together, and it has just so many bells and whistles. I mean, for everything from this little deal that holds the body mounts, the body post mounts, has rubber deals inside where it floats, kind of. So if you hit crash hard, instead of ripping your body apart, it gives. The center diff has like these rubber inserts that go all around the diff cup, and I guess that helps it when they get really hot, that they don't overheat. I mean, just all the titanium and aluminum and carbon fiber and everything on it, and it was a joy to build. I love it, man. The way this is designed and engineered is so, like, it's up there with X-rays and you know, all the other Mugans and Technos and all that. You know, it's very, very technical, just well engineered. And it's one of the things that I wanted to talk about before we get into this. We're gonna rip that. We have an engine that's ready to go. It's one of my favorite bone stock engines, and now it's modified. It's the R5. Well, it replaced the R5R. This is the 521 Reds Scooterua, and it's modified by none other than RC Renew. Shout out to Lance Heidman, my nitro engine RC modifier. He just does excellent work. To me, if you don't think 125 bucks is worth even 2,000 RPMs, then you obviously don't know anything about it. You're not very bright, okay? I mean, people think that, okay, once you get it modified, oh, it's going to be like 10 miles an hour faster. No. But even a couple mile per hour faster is better than no mile per hour faster. They're easier to tune. to me, in my opinion, I've had my modified stuff forever, but I don't want to get all into that stuff. That's a whole nother video. You know, people have their opinions, and they're like buttholes. They stink, and everybody has one, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Your channel, do what the hell you want, okay? But on my channel, I just keep it 100% real, okay? And I know the difference. And as long as I know the difference from a stock whatever to when I get it modded, then that's all that matters. I don't care what anybody else thinks, okay? People just, you know, want to flap their gums, call them broke know-it-alls, but they're the ones. Never mind, I don't want to get into that again. I've got another rant that I want to talk about because I haven't ranted in a while. So we're going to run this. I'm running the FX pipe. I forgot which one this is. This is the FX. I'll tell you guys later, or I'll put it in the description. And I think that is I believe it's a Red's header on it. One of the Red's headers. But anyway, I'm running a 13 clutch bell on here. So we got a 13 on it. And I'm going to run it and give it some little wide open, not 10-second pulls, but give it some wide open pulls, get it dialed in, get it screaming here, and then take it off-roading. That's why I have the other set of tires down there, my Badlandish knockoffs, and I have the road tires on it now because I want to open her up and see what she's got. She's ready to rip. I was thinking of idling another tank through her, but I don't really need to. I'm not going to peg her too hard. I want to get her good and warmed up. I might, you know, rip it around and not get too hard on it on the first tank. And then on the second tank, I might just really just floor it and just pin it. Okay? So anyway, and I have my favorite radio, Fly Sky NB4 Noble. Baddest, in my opinion, so far one of the baddest radios I've ever owned, and the best bang for bucks out there. $250, you get 2 receivers, you get a 4,000 milliamp battery that I don't think I've charged maybe once in the few years that I've had it. And just an awesome radio, man. I love these radios. If you're thinking about something, you don't want to spend a lot of money on, and you're not really going to race, but you want something good quality, this is the radio. Now, I thought about getting the new one, but I don't really need all that. Unless you're going to race, you don't need all those. I don't even use half the things that are in this thing. And this is fine. Matter of fact, I'm thinking of getting another one of these. I like the wireless, antenna-less receivers that come with, when you get one that comes with one and then one with a wire. Depending on what you get, you got to make sure you get the whatever setup, because some of them are different. And also, you can get more. And the receivers are only 30-something bucks. That's way cheaper than any receiver that I've seen out there that's a good quality, especially with Tabas. 80 bucks. Nah, I'm good. So we got the body all painted up that I did. SRX Serpent Cobra Serpent. So, and yeah, we're gonna rip this thing around. So hold on 1 second, hold that thought. Sorry about that, people. Had to go take a whizzer. It's kind of a ways over there. But anyway, so we are on the north side of the park. I'm usually on the south side, which is over there. It's starting to get a little warm out here, so I don't want to rant too much more. I'll maybe talk while we're running. But I just want to mention that nitro, I don't think is, well, like I said, it'll never be dead on my channel, ever. But it hasn't been getting a lot of attention, even after the Worlds. I mean, I don't think sales skyrocketed on any nitro. This scale, it doesn't look like it's growing that much either. I think we're still in a recession. The economy, to do a hobby like this, it's not cheap either way you go, you know. I think that's, you know, even as far back as when they first came out, the 5B Baja was always designed to get people into the hobby with not spending a lot of money. I mean, you could still get one for $500 or $600. They might have went up a few bucks for, you know, with everything ready to go. But you're going to change probably half, a good, I'd say 90% of that vehicle when all is said and done, just because it's low quality. You know, and talking about engineering, and before we get into that, let's back up. The last time I ran the Baja, I was done filming. I actually had more footage than that, like another 20 minutes, but somehow, and I got to make sure that my camera's lined up, the camera was facing down, so you couldn't even see me ripping around. So it kind of pissed me off. But anyway, I was running over here after I was done, and I was ripping around on the grass, and it did like end over end when I turned it, flipped, and I snapped the rear left-hand outer drive cup. Okay, basically, if this would be the smaller, like, you know, the one side of it, like right where the opening is for the dog bone pin to go in, one side is completely snapped off, clean snap. So I went to change it, took it all apart. I had to clean it up anyway after that wrap session. Come to find out, when I take everything apart and I split the diff apart, I'm getting ready to do the diffs, and I go to pull the cup out. Well, those on the Bajas, okay, you have the big bearing, the big size bearing. Then there's an inner reese with a bearing in it. When I went to take the cup out, because I'm going to replace both cups, I have the FID. I think they're the FIDs, heavy duty rear setup, inner outer drive cups, the whole deal. So I go to take that rear piece out, and the bearing, that the cup that got broke, and that whole thing pulled out. So I'm like, what the hell? I didn't even know there was an inner. And there's a big bearing, and then there's an inner tiny bearing. One on the inside, one on the outside. I'm like, you gotta be, excuse my language, shitting me. So now I gotta replace those bearings. And then on top of that, to get the big bearings off, because I'm gonna replace those too, you gotta pry them off. And then I heard people saying, well, you might want to press them back on. I don't have a press. I mean, I have one that I can get access to one, but my bottom line is, my point is, every time I work on the 5B Baja, it's a headache. It's not fun. When the hobby no longer becomes fun, and half the fun for me is wrenching. I don't know about you guys. I love turning wrenches. It's called labor of love, which means you're laboring to maintain it and everything, upkeep. And then that's a labor of love, because you love to do that, because you have fun doing it. And you get to see the end result by you running your whip. But when it becomes every time, I got to tear that thing down, and there's always an issue. And I'm not just even talking about the braking part. I'm talking about just, why can't you just design something so you can take the bearings off and put them on? Or you got to make it like that. The 5B is one of the most poorly designed vehicles. Now, there's a difference in design and engineer. When you design something, you're just designing it for whatever. That thing was designed, like I said, it's kind of the equivalent of a donkey. It was designed to run in a park, and it wasn't designed to race. My point is, it's not a thoroughbred. You can't turn a donkey into a thoroughbred, and you can't turn a thoroughbred into a donkey. The thoroughbred is made and designed for racing, like the Serpent, like my MCD, like a 5B, like a 5T. Okay? Those vehicles are designed thoroughbreds to win. They're not donkeys. To me, in my opinion, if you have a hybrid if you have an HPI, if you have a Rovin, you have a, and this is going to hurt a lot of people's feelings are going to get butthurt. I can't wait to see the comments once people watch this video. And I'm ranting this because the 5B, when I work on it, makes me want to quit the hobby. It's that bad. Every time you work on it, it's not fun. If you say that thing is fun to work on, you're a moron. And you don't know shit from Shinola. Excuse my language again. Every time I work on it, I talk to Chris 1/5 all the time. I told him I want to throw it out the window. You can even talk to John at Detroit Performance. He agrees with me. He said it's the worst joke of a design ever. He said the HPI, which is the ones that really designed it, whoever the original designers of the 5B setup, ought to be shot. Whether it's the transmission design, whether it's anything, the whole design of that vehicle, even if you put everything Taylor Max on it, is still a joke. Compared to a 5B or a 5T, we won't even talk about MCD. That's a whole other level. And yeah, people told me when I bought it, that talked me into it, and this is nothing against them. I'm the one that made the decision, so I'm not blaming them. They just said, oh, you got to get a 5B. They're so much fun. They're so much fun. They're so much fun. Yeah, but when you go to work on them, they make you want to quit. That's not fun. When every time you go to wrench on it, even when you take it apart and go to clean on it, and you second guess, the hobby, that's horrible. I'm just tired of every time I went, even when you go to upgrade it, you got to alter this and grind this, and I don't spend thousands of dollars to have to cut billet, to have to grind carbon fiber that I'm spending money. That's just retarded. And I was told by people, well, that's because it was designed for the HPI, not for the King motors, not for the Rovin. Well, okay. Well, then tell people that. They don't tell people that because they wouldn't buy it. And they wouldn't say, hey, you spent $200 on this part. Oh, by the way, you're going to have to grind this and you're going to have to measure this out and to make it fit right. People are not going to buy it. It's a marketing scheme. If you don't think it is, again, you're an idiot. So I told Chris 1/5, I'm thinking of just retiring the Baja. I really don't want it anymore. I'm that serious. And I put a lot of money into it. Not a lot, but I put enough into it. I might get half it back at that. And I'm thinking about buying an MCD buggy. The RR5, I think it's called, the buggy. All I need is an MCD buggy, MCD truggy, or the truck, and a 5B, and I'm good. Maybe later get a 5T. Those 4 vehicles is all you'll need, whether you want to bash or race, and you can do both. You can't do both with an Outlaw that you spent $1 bazillion on, or a hybrid, and all they do is brake. And it's funny how people backpedal, and when something happens, the true colors come out and they tell you how they feel, okay, about a vehicle and how unreliable they are, and they brake and blah, that's, you know, and they totally talk negative about it, okay, and then when everything's dandy, they're cool with it. And I'm telling you that because that's how I was. But I know always when you work on the HPI Bajas or the King motor, but it doesn't matter. Any of that design similar with the 2-wheel drive or rear 2-wheel drive, first of all, they suck. They handle like crap. So what, you can put a 125cc engine in it and watch it tear up and do wheelies or whatever it's going to do going back and forth, which is all you can do, by the way. Go straight, turn around, come back. Go straight. You're not sending that thing unless you got a couple grand laying around. You're not even getting sideways. You're not even getting crazy and radical and doing donuts. You're just going straight one way, back another way. Straight one. All you're doing is grass drag racing, which after a while will get boring, trust me. So why am I venting and telling you guys this? Because that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about getting rid of my Baja. I really don't want it anymore. It's probably the worst investment in RC that I've ever made, and I told Chris this too. He kind of was tripping out. And not anything bad of him, because he was one of the guys that kept talking. He kind of talked me into getting one. And so did Elite RC. But I don't blame those guys. It's not their fault at all. They just have a different opinion than I do. And I'm entitled, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I just think those things suck. They're not, they're a donkey of RC. They're not no thoroughbred because they're not designed to race. They're not even engineered. There's no engineering involved in a 5B setup. Roven, Baja, King Motors, HPI, none of those two-wheel drives with the tub chassis. It's a little bit different when you get the flat chassis on it, but still, it's got the same rear tranny on it, which can handle a lot of power, but so what? So can my MCDW5. My Ultimate can handle just as much power. Not as just close to as much power. And it's four-wheel drive, and it handles better, and I can race it. A lot more pluses. Yes, it's a lot more expensive, but I've got a lot more options. The Baja just isn't it. I'm going to take the Killer 35. It's going to get modded. We'll talk about who's going to mod it another time. I did well tell you, though, it's getting modded. The engine is getting pulled completely apart. Okay, people, see if we can get it to idle. Had to make a couple quick adjustments. I don't think she's perfect, but sometimes if you're like a perfectionist like me, and I've been a while since we did nitro, you almost want it like, you know what I mean? You want it perfect. Woo! Yeah, I can tell the difference. From when this thing was stock, go back and look at the video. Matter of fact, I think I ran it in the same vehicle. I think that idle's almost too low, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's because I'm trying to get it like perfect. A little bit of splatter, as Mr. Product would say. Now I can't get this thing far enough back to where I run out of property. I gotta put the body on it. But I think she sounds okay. Especially for a guy like Muggy Maniac, you know, who can't tune. So anyway, that's about as low as an idle you're gonna get. She's a little rich on the bottom. A little bit of fatness on top, but yeah, I can't because I gotta get in between. I'm gonna get in the shade part over here since it's getting hot. See how far I can get it back? I want to just rip this thing. Woo! Slam on the brakes. Hold a minute. Hold on a minute. That 521 sounds pretty healthy. I think it would give my R5R, that we call the F1, because it sounds like a Formula 1. I think it'd give it a run for its money. I almost need more room. I need like that college that I go to by my house. Yeah, this isn't enough room. Although maybe, let me see if I can bring it all the way down over here. I shouldn't be running it without the body, but see if we can get it going. Oh. Yeah. 9-second pulls, baby.